Uh,
Good morning, everybody. We're just gonna give it a couple minutes here and get going. We're 1 minute ahead of time, but we have a lot of people that are ready to go here. So we'll let Kevin introduce the session in a minute or two. If you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to fire away throughout the short coffee break here, and we'll get going in we'll get going here in 1 minute. We got Rachel joining. See if that works. So we're gonna go 10:31. We're gonna go live, okay? And the good news is not snowing outside today, so far so good. Okay, guys? We're trying to do a little Bob and Doug McKenzie, so we put our little toques on for you guys. Okay, Kevin, we're gonna give it 30 seconds, okay?
All right, sounds good.
We're recording this as well, so if you have any colleagues afterwards that want to learn a little bit more about cold weather services and selecting contractors, we'll have it available.
What is going on? Hi, guys. Can you
We
hear
haven't
me?
started yet, Rachel. We're just starting any
Sorry, I
second.
don't
We're
have
live,
a hat on.
We're live, Rachel.
I don't look like you guys. I don't fit in. I can't hear you here. What's going on?
Okay, Rachel, we're live.
Hang on here. My computer is being funny.
Okay, Rachel's getting muted, everybody. Sorry. Okay, Kevin, kick it off.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our webinar series. My name is Kevin. I'm in charge of business development here at Service. We have Rachel here, we have Slavko, and we have David here to help you out with the snow services that we provide here. So without any further ado, let's begin the webinar. I hope you enjoyed the 20-minute series.
Thank you, everybody, for joining. We'll start off by talking about our new look. You'll see in behind there, we've got these a nice new logo. Really quickly, we built our new visual on 3 brand attributes, which we hope come through: welcoming and friendly, accountable and proactive, and high-tech and advanced. So we really are happy with the look. Our customers are liking it, but same company, same people, nothing else has changed. It's just that we look and feel a little bit different, but any questions about that or comments, what you guys think about the new brand and look, please let us know. We don't want to spend a ton of time on it, but we thought we'd just introduce that. So again, the purpose of today is to help you guys select a cold service contractor. A lot of you probably already have sourced one for the year, and that's good. But it's really good to know the things that can get your site in a bit of difficulty, hiring the right contractor, the ability to perform for you, and making sure that you're set up to have success. So I'm going to start off by asking Slavko a question, and it's an emotional question. I think he's ready though. Okay. And Slavko and I have been through what, probably 8 or 9 years of cold weather service.
Yes.
We'll sit in our war room on the heavy snow days and track the vehicles and support the crews and deliver ice melt throughout town. Slavko, how does it make you feel that in probably 3 or 4 weeks we're going to be doing that again?
Well, I would say good. Yeah, the organization behind is massive. You know, I always say behind the curtains, preparation and organization. So I'm looking forward actually to kick in, to, you know, start the new season. And I think we're going to be all successful with it.
Did you guys believe him?
I did to myself.
I believe him.
Yeah.
So the first thing, when you guys are selecting a contractor to perform your cold weather services, you want to make sure they have the ability to perform. Okay, because everybody thinks cold weather service or snow and de-icing is like the I'll use the words probably wrong, but like a gold rush, and it's not. It's just another service you're delivering, no different than doing window and gutter cleaning and all the other exterior services that we do. But it does put the contractor under a lot of pressure, and it does test them. And it does test your site. The site has to understand what they've actually contracted for and that they're getting the service that they contracted for. Slavko, here's a question. And Slavko doesn't know the questions, by the way, guys. What is the most difficult thing about delivering the cold weather service? One thing.
One thing I would
On a heavy
say
snow day, what's the
on the
hardest part?
snow day, just I would say the reaching the sites. That would be one of the challenges because most of the time the biggest challenge is the roads in the city are not clear. So it's kind of everything goes slower than we expect or we want to be. And when we hit let's say the first site, then basically it's go straight forward.
Yeah, and then getting around town is the hard part,
That's
especially if you have a snowstorm and the Alex Fraser Bridge is closed. A few years ago, the 99 was closed. So that affects our ability to get to the site. So one thing we can do to help with that is cluster. We assign the same technicians like and what we do, I don't know what other companies do, and I imagine it's the same, is we have 8 crews that do snow removal and de-icing, either a 2-person team or a 3-person team. And we really map out their routes to make sure that they're closer together as best we can. So once they get going, like Slavko said, it's a little easier to get around town. We don't want guys jumping around. So when we take our buildings, we make sure that they fit into a proper schedule for routing to be okay. So, okay, one of the big things we believe in is the question I'll ask Slavko is what's automatic versus on call?
Automatic is basically first of all we monitor weather conditions and we forecast everything. So on call is basically, I always like to say, it's peace of mind. So let's say we know it's gonna be in 2-3 days snow. We already plan ahead. We just dispatch the crew as we plan the best time for it, and we go. On call is when the customers calls. Many years ago we tried that and didn't work because logistically it was nightmare and we couldn't just do it because if the customers calls on the morning of the snow storm or something, it's very, very complex to pick up that site. So we always prefer, we have this amount of sites, we plan our routes, we prepare everything for it, and it's easy to dispatch the crew, and that's basically it.
And one thing I'll add to that is, so we're talking about triggers. So when you guys have your agreements with your contractors, is you're looking at the triggers. So automatic trigger, on-call triggers. Automatic, like Slavko says, is that our job is to monitor the weather. So what we literally do is we're looking at 2 or 3 different weather channels, but we have to get more specific than that. We have to look at parts of town. Coquitlam versus New West versus Ladner versus White Rock. Dunbar is different than downtown Vancouver. And that 1 or 2 degrees temperature can make a big difference. So we're planning. Now, you don't always get it right, but we're trying to make sure that we don't get caught. Okay. And so we recommend that you always go with an automatic service, because with an on-call service, you're reacting. You're behind already. Okay. Let me give you an example. If we think it's going to snow, don't stress out, but tomorrow, okay, we would go out tonight and de-ice. Now, why do we go out tonight? I'll ask Rachel a question, but you only get 10 seconds to answer, Rachel. Okay.
Sure.
Why would we go out the night before and de-ice?
Because the ground freezes, and if there's no salt on the ground, the snow and the ice is going to stick directly to the ground, and it's going to be next to impossible to remove from the ground.
You're done. Perfect answer. Love it. Okay. So we go out the night, because I'm watching time. We go out the night before, okay, and we'll de-ice. So the next day we can get the snow off the ground, and it gives us the ability to perform at a higher level. So that's where the on-call fails. With the on-call, you're calling us up, or you're calling anybody, and they've got 3-4 feet of snow already.
Yeah.
Okay. They didn't get ahead of it. They're behind it. Now I know buildings are doing that because, we can do some of the work ourselves and this and that. Fine. But then you got to do the whole thing, in our opinion, because you're going to be waiting. Okay. You're putting yourselves in a tough position.
And
Go ahead, Rachel.
It's really difficult to remove like solid ice off the cement. It makes it like our shoveling, everything like 10 times harder. So the salt actually plays a very big role in all of this.
And then the other thing we'll add is, so we talked about triggers, automatic versus on call. The other thing is frequency. Okay. So I know with our agreements, our frequency is set to once every 24 hours if it snows. Okay. So we'll time it. If we think it's going to start snowing at 10 o'clock, we're going to start our runs around 1 o'clock. Okay. If we think it snows overnight, we're going to start our runs at 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay. They got headlamps. The guys got spiky, like you have for the ice rinks for underneath their chute, the spikes, so they don't slip. Okay. So it really is an all-encompassing effort. It's a lot of work to plan this properly. That's why we don't believe on call. So frequency and triggers. If your strata wants that place not to have any snow on it, they need more than once a day. That gets very expensive and often unnecessary. Okay, so we go once a day and we time it. And sometimes what'll happen is we'll be out and we'll start at 2 o'clock and it's snowing throughout the entire night. We'll be out the next morning. You also have to look at this from a health and safety point of view. The gentleman in the field doing the work it can be easy, it can be light fluffy snow, or it can be really, really difficult. Okay, guys? Different types of snow machines that remove different types of snow. Okay. So if it's going to snow heavy all day, 1 o'clock we go out, and then later on the night it continues to snow, we're back out the next morning. Okay, that's just the way it is. Okay, so we talked about triggers, we talked about frequency. We should also talk about reporting. If you're using a contractor, make sure they have some kind of field management system that is keeping attendance monitoring, keeping photos. And I'm not talking after the fact, I'm talking while they're there. Hey, I was out at 5:05. Here's a picture of this place. It's clear. We spread the ice melt. Here's your photos. The work is done. And we finished at 6:55. Okay. So Slavko, let's speak to how our crews do the compliance side of it, or the evidence side, or the field service reporting side of it.
Yeah, so basically it's kind of straightforward. When they let's say they come to the site, they can take a couple photos before they start. As they move along let's say the map they supposed to clear, or designated areas, they take the photos. So let's say the photos, they have the stamp with the time. You can clearly see everything. They write the report. As soon as they complete the service, the customers get the email completion email. And so basically that's one of the part of monitoring attendance, and it's a work evidence as well. So it's a photo, safety, compliance, everything is basically when they are on the site, they are doing it through our app. So it's very transparent.
And then one other thing is we have a system of record. So every time we go out, and this is for every job that we do here at Service Group, whether it's window or gutter cleaning or snow removal or carpet cleaning, is that we can bring up your account in our system and we can see all that record, all the pictures are all there. So a lot of companies will ask us for that at the end of the season. It's simple. We send it over. They've got pictures, they've got notes, they've got time logs for every snow service or de-icing service that we completed. Okay, so we're going to move on and ask one more question. So, actually, I'll just speak to it. Advanced planning is so critical when you hire a contractor, having that relationship. You just don't sign off on a quote and see you later. So the items that are very important is you need a detailed site map. Sounds simple, but some people miss areas. In some complexes, when they get more advanced, we'll say, hey, if it's a heavy snow, prioritize to this area. This is the secondary area. That back alleyway can wait to the next day. Okay, I think that's important. So we get a lot of site maps. They're just from Google, highlighted up. If you want to an exit at the back of the building done, highlight it. We can obviously, that relationship to contractor can adjust as you go, but having that site map is so important. Number two, again, back to the site map, know what area is being done or not. So like, make sure the strata maybe knows what areas are being done. Okay, or what areas will be prioritized in a massive 5-foot snowfall. Okay. And then we talked about this already, delivery frequency. We get so many phone calls, and I'm sure the other contractors do as well, as our crew was out at 5 o'clock in the morning, the place looks great. It snows during the day, guys. So that is an expectation thing that they have to understand what's going on. Okay. Also, let's talk about types of ice melt. That is so important. They're not cheaping out on their ice melt and using something that can damage the concrete, damage the plants. Slavko, what do we use for ice melt?
We are using ice bombs. Basically, that's the name of the product, and it's safe.
It doesn't sound nice.
Yeah, but it works really well, and we use it for last few years, and it's environmentally friendly, concrete friendly, so it's really, and it works. That's the main thing. So it's safe and it works.
And that's one thing that we've done over the years, is that we have tried different sources for ice melt. In the last 3-4 years, we settled on this product because our feedback from the crews. They came back to us and said, well, we have this stuff over in the corner. I want the ice bomb. It works better. It melts the ice better. It makes my job easier. It works better. couple dollars more a bag. That's the way it is. It works better. Okay. Let's talk about frequency. Okay. So one of the places that contractors will get in trouble is if you're just de-icing and it's cold outside, but it's dry. How often would we go, Rachel? She doesn't know this question's coming.
No,
It's right in our proposals, right? That's the trick.
once every 24 hours, and or it depends on if there's precipitation.
That's perfect. Yep.
You know, if there's no precipitation and we've already put ice melt down, we're not going to go again because, like, you know, if nothing's melted or it hasn't rained, nothing's washed away what's currently on the ground, and it's not our intention to put ice melt on top of ice melt. We want to, and not to take advantage of a situation, we'll say, whereas that's part of our contract, even though it's not really necessary, if that makes sense. So we're not just going to go out for the sake of going out. If it doesn't make sense to go out, we won't. And then basically that saves the client, you know, the cost of, you know, us going out and doing like something that's kind of redundant.
One thing we'll do though, if it is dry out, we have written into our agreements, we'll go every 48 hours. We can adjust that and go every 72, but we're definitely going every second or third day, even if it's in dry out, because we're checking the areas. Ice melt will track away with your parkade ramp. Ice melt will track away at the entry points, and that's what they're identifying. They're identifying those areas where, hey, this isn't good enough, because traffic has taken away the ice melt, and it may not be effective. So we're going to replenish those areas, but we're not putting ice melt on top of ice melt, like Rachel said. And that's one area you got to be careful of. But it is important to have those checks to make sure. Now, if it's frying, if it's raining outside or it gets too warm during the day and melts it, when it gets cold overnight, we have to go back. Okay. Okay, so we've covered that off. One other thing we should talk about is that doing roadways is different than doing walkways. When I say roadways, I'm talking about townhouse complexes. So what we do as a contractors, our specialty is apartment buildings, walkways, roundabouts, parkade ramps. We don't do townhouse complexes just because we don't have the equipment for that, and it's not our specialty. So what you'll find is some people will hire contractors that will do the roadways, but getting out of your truck and getting your snow machine out and spreading ice melt is different than when you've probably seen those guys driving around the big fancy trucks and the spreaders in the back. They don't get out. They just come in, they plow the area, put it all on a pile, spread the ice melt, and move on to the next site. So it's a different service than doing walkways. It's something you should really be careful of when you're hiring a contractor, and you might have to have two contractors for your site. So, okay, Kevin, it looks like we have some questions. By the way, we keep this fast moving, guys, because we're trying to time here to get you guys on your day. Kevin, we got some questions? Or on the chat feed?
So far, we don't have any, but
Okay.
yeah, I keep a lookout on it.
Okay. Okay, any questions, guys? Feel free to fire away. Oh, we got somebody raised their hand. Jamal raised his hand. I'm going to allow him to talk. Hey, Jamal, go ahead.
Oh, hey guys, thanks again for having us and providing the information. I wanted to know, when is do you have a cutoff date of when you're stopping taking, I guess, more stratas on for snow removal, or how is there any
You're
cutoff?
talking about if we have the ability to take on more agreements?
Yeah.
This year we've increased our field crews, so we do have time still, but that's a good question. I would say that I'll take this as a more general question, saying that most cold weather contractors would probably have their schedule sorted out by December 1st. If I look to when we actually had cold weather, a few years ago we had some in November. Last year we had none in December. Last year wasn't a heavy year. It was more January, February, and then we did a little service at the beginning of March. So I would say December 1st should be the cutoff for strata agents to have a provider in place. It's a late cutoff, but it's a cutoff. Yeah. And I would say that having contractors would probably pretty much sort it out then. So
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I have one left, so I'm gonna reach out to you guys because these guys can't really make up a decision, but I think it would help to get that, to finalize that. So Appreciate that.
Cool. And then I think we have another question down here in the Q&A. Please send your contacts. I would love to reach out. For maybe Kevin, you can make a note of that for Susan.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, I think we have another question. Here's a good one. Question that came in. So a lot of, or a note actually, when we've been having our lunch and learns, some contractors have gone to a monthly amount. So we'll charge you X amount for snow removal, and for that you're going to come out and perform to do this. And the question I'm getting is, why don't you guys do that? You know what? Rachel's probably great at answering this. So Rachel, why wouldn't we go on a monthly agreement? And then I got Ken Dahl after this, gonna ask a question, and I'll bring him up. Okay.
So historically, there's no rhythm or rhyme. And so like to what you were just stating, how, last year we didn't have any snow in November or December. And the year before we had a lot of snow in December. So it's, what happens if we're charging you a monthly amount and there's no snow? Are you still going to pay us? That's more like, what happens if there's like a whole, it would be really hard to align a price point and have it make sense for either client, like us or the client, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It would be, yeah, that's a difficult one. And I just, it's hard to see how that, I can't, for myself, knowing and doing this service year after year, the unpredictability of it is the problem with the service. And so, some years we have heavy months and some years we don't. And so, to charge one price point, some days the snow service can be half of what it was other days. It just depends on how much snow there is. So we can't predict the weather. Oh,
one thing, I'll pause you right there. I agree with you 100%. And the other thing I paused Rachel because we'll be here till 1 o'clock. He's laughing. That's good. Okay. I'm going to bring Ken in 1 second here, but what I will say is that it doesn't build in the performance aspect of it and the proactivity aspect of it. And I know why the strategists are thinking it. I know what the cost is going to be. I can budget for it. And I get that. But I do think that if you're looking to budget for snow removal, I think last year the average strata spent about $10,000 to $12,000 for this for over the 3 months. Year before it was 15. Year before that it was 10. So we can give you guys a pretty good ballpark figure to budget with if that's a concern, and you can add to it just to make sure you're okay. But I do think a small example would be, hey, it's going to snow tomorrow. We go the night before when we apply ice melt, so everyone's safer and get a better service. Well, they might not do that because they're just they're on a monthly contract and their interests may not align with yours. So okay, I'm going to bring Ken in. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hey, Ken, nice to hear from you.
Great. Nice to hear from you as well. For those who haven't used your service, I can tell them that I have been using it for a number of years, and the service is fantastic. You guys are always ahead of the game. I know that sometimes strata say, well, why did you call them out now? We really didn't need it. Well, you do need it. And the number one priority is the safety of your clients. So I think you guys do a great job.
Thank you, Ken. We appreciate that. Okay, so this is a hot topic, guys. There's close to 85 people in this webinar, so we appreciate it. If you have any questions afterwards, feel free to shoot them our way. But I'll just recap real quick. So number one, triggers. What's your trigger? Automatic versus on call, and what triggers it? How much snow? What temperature? Remember, when you're on automatic, you're hiring someone to monitor the weather. It's not fun monitoring the weather. Slavko, do you love monitoring the weather?
Not really, but I still do it because we have so many different sources. So literally the cameras around the city, the many different ways of finding what's going on. And
strata agents, you guys are doing so much stuff. You're so busy and you're getting hit from so many different angles. I know everyone likes looking at the weather, but I don't think it's a responsibility that you really want to carry. I think you want someone else to carry that responsibility. And then I'm sure you've lived it before and you're phoning around and saying, hey, can you get somebody out to help our site? Well, you're not going to get great service, guys, on call. You're just not. Frequencies, another thing, site maps, the obvious one. Walkways versus roadways is important in the type of product they're using. And just have that relationship, because some days it's hard. I mean, if you get a massive snowstorm, the city is shut down. That's hard, guys. That's really hard to perform. So, okay, Kevin, why don't you show off? Everyone who showed up today is going to get a tech wedge. Shevin, show off our tech wedge.
All right, so the tech
Oh, there
wedge
it is.
right
Here we go. Get it back up.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, one more time.
Okay, so
Yeah,
this
talk,
is the
sure.
tech wedge for all the attendees that attended to today's webinar. We'll be sending you off one of these goodies. And yeah, for those who wanted a recorded copy of this webinar, we'll be sending them along. And if you have any questions, you can always send us an email at info@servicegroup.com.
We really appreciate you guys' time. We're gonna end it, and we were 4 minutes over, and I'm sorry for that. But we'll end this right now, and enjoy your day, guys. If you got any questions, never hesitate. And if you get in trouble with a contractor this year you've hired, or you need extra support and help, call us. We'll see what we can do for you. We can't promise it, but we'll try. And I just stressed Slavko out by saying that. So, okay, thanks, guys.
Thank
Have a
you,
good day.
everybody.
All right, thank you.